So while we're all up and ready, I'm going to give you our first comic of the evening. Don't worry, he speaks English. His name is Hector Lara. Give it up for your host over there. Adele's, it's so nice to be here. My first time out here. Really nice to perform in front of white people that won't report me, hopefully. I know what you're all thinking. I look like General Zod from the 1980s Superman. And you know there were space Mexicans because there was 3 of them crammed into one interdimensional triangle? We all know those are one-seaters. But I like movies. The other day I was just flipping channels around and I was watching Rambo, but it was in Spanish. And I don't know if you guys ever done this, but it's the same voice for all of the characters. Like it's the same legal voice on the commercials for legal business, right? Llame 333-33-33. It's like the scene where the cop is hunting Rambo right there in the forest. He's like, Rambo, no te quiero aquí en esta ciudad. And then Rambo's like, si tú quieres una guerra, te va a ir mal. Si necesitas ayuda, llama 333-33-33. But at least with like Chinese kung fu movies, they try to have a little bit of a variety. Like they had like the 1920s little mob gangster voice, and like the Chinese John Wayne, right? They're like, so the governor says you have to close your kung fu school. So, governor wants to close the school, huh? Well, I will use my iron fist and fist him. And fist him real hard until he opens the school. I don't know if that's a joke or more like this weird sexual kung fu fantasy that I've had about fisting. I got scammed recently. I don't know if any of you have been scammed. It's like weird. It's like the biggest Ponzi scheme. I became a parent. Anybody else? Like they start off the same. It's just based on lies, right? And like the only way, it's like network marketing. The only way to get out of it is by lying to the next person. Nobody ever wants to be honest. Like my wife was pregnant, and I called a buddy. He's like, hey, so what should I expect? He's like, it's the worst and the hardest job that you'll ever love. I'm like, it's a job? I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. He's like, don't worry. And he told me what all parents say. It's the most rewarding experience you'll ever have. And I call shenanigans on this, because there's been no reward. Like, I thought it was like some esoteric kind of thing, right? Like the reward just like seeing your kids grow. No, I think it's literal. Like, I think it's more like a sandwich card, you know, when you go to Subway and you buy 10 sandwiches, you get one free. I think we don't have enough kids. I think Mormons are the ones enjoying the rewards of parenthood. But we have some bad examples as parents too, right? I mean, it's not the same as when we grew up, right? We, right now, just to go to the store, right? Parents pack like they're gonna go 1 week to the Himalayas. Like, it's crazy. Like, they got a diaper, a backup diaper, a backup to the backup diaper. They got a sweater. They got a jacket, a rain jacket, a black one in case they have to change outfits. They got water, the refill, milk, breast milk, formula. And in case they get thirsty, they have juice. You know, it's crazy. When I was a kid and we went to the store, we had whatever bottle mom remembered to give us, and we had the diaper that we were wearing. And before we walked out of the room, she'd say, if you soil your diaper, I'll tell everyone you're gay. And that was a lot for a 9-year-old to take in. I'm like, I guess tell everybody I'm happy. But I believe that if you're not ready for kids, you should get a dog. A lot of parents would say it's not the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Right? You want to take a vacation, you got to find a sitter. You got to make sure they have water. They go outside to do their business. Same thing with a dog. The only difference is that you can't euthanize a child, right? Unless it's a girl and you're in China. Then it's okay. It's true. I didn't make it up. I'm sorry. I didn't realize this was a Chinese crowd. I apologize. But, well, if dogs bother you, like this lady up here, that maybe you should get foster kids, because it's different. With foster kids, you kind of get like a trial period. You know, it's kind of like going to Costco. It's like the greatest return policy ever. Like 7 years later, you could be like, yeah, it's just not working out. I get sore credit for this one. But it's tough because you don't know what you're doing as a parent. And you don't learn until you screw up your kids later on in life. But there's certain validating moments that you get. Like I remember I was driving the car, daughter was about 4 or 5 years old, and driving, and it's night, and she goes, and she says, Daddy, I want to go to the moon. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Well, what do you need to do to go to the moon? She goes, you need to know science. I was like, oh. Well, where do you need to work in order to go to the moon? You need to work at NASA. So I'm getting excited. Like, she knows what she wants to do. What do you need to go to the moon? She goes, you need a rocket. I was like, oh my gosh. So what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? She goes, I want to be a puppy. It was just like, okay, it's not there yet. But there's a lot of hard lessons as a parent that you learn. We've all learned them the hard way. I grew up I'm kind of a potty mouth at home. I've never been filtered, so my daughter's a little immune to curse words. Like the other day, I let one slip out, and she's like, ooh, I'm telling Mommy. So I'm like, come on, you little rat, don't say anything. And she's all, Mommy! And then Mommy comes downstairs, she's like, what happened? She's like, somebody said a bad word. And then for some reason, my wife, she's Mexican, and she likes for my daughter to call me Papi, because that's what Mexicans do. They call their dad Papi. Never calls me Papi Chulo, but she wants my daughter to call me Papi. I think she has Papi issues herself. But she's like, so what happened? She goes, somebody said a bad word. She's like, who did? It's like, him. I'm sorry, who? She goes, that cunt right there. He said stupid. So the lesson is, don't let your kids watch British television. But as a parent, you learn empathy. That's one of the things that you gain. You're not as empathetic before having kids as you are when you have kids. For instance, there was this lady, she won a new van in a raffle. And she was excited. She packed all 8 of her kids in the van, and she drove straight into a lake and drowned all the kids. And it was tragic, right? So before I had empathy, I would have been like, oh my God, that's so sad, right? But now with empathy, I'm like, oh my God, poor woman only had that van for like a few hours. And it's sat 8? Honey, what was the make and model of that van? Can you log on to Auto Trader? I feel like taking your sister's kids for a ride. But you guys haven't met those kids. They're the devil's spawn. And they have both parents. But it's, you know, I'm worried about my daughter's future, like all of us are, about our kids. So I put her in singing lessons, just in case, you know, she makes it big, that's something. Or just in case she dies prematurely, she won't come back and haunt us with that stupid Ring Around the Rosie song. That's just, maybe she'll sing a little bit something more current. But I'll leave you with this one. It's important as a parent to preserve our kids' sense of self-worth and self-respect. I had an opportunity the other day. I took my daughter to the park, and so she's playing on the playground, trying to talk to one of the hot moms. And next thing I hear is, Daddy, Daddy, look! So I look over, and it's her on top of a pole, and she's sliding down, hands first, holding herself up with her legs, like a little 6-year-old stripper, if you could imagine. And before she hits the ground, this little kid runs up to her and puts some money in her shorts. I'm like, oh hell no, right? So I go up there and I get the money out and I look at the kid. I'm like, $1? You put $1 in my daughter's shorts? Like, did you not see how gracefully she came down that pole? I'm like, that's worth at least $10. So before anything else, before I could squeeze out any more money, the dad comes over and he's like, I'm sorry, my son saw some money fall out of her shorts. He was just putting it back. So before I could apologize, he pulls out a $20 bill and he puts it in her shorts. So my daughter pulls it out and I said, Daddy, what's this? I look at the bill, I look at her, I said, that's 2 more dances. Get back up on the pole. Folks, thank you so much. This has been awesome. Appreciate it.